Another episode of our ultimate compression and compressor guide here on MixbusTv. In this video, the best Opto Compressor plugins. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy and special discounts and offers on plugins, including the ones we are gonna see in this video. All the links are gonna be down below. And now if you want to become a MixbusTv member, support MixbusTv, but most important, access to exclusive content, click the join button down here. You can access members only posts, videos, live chats, Pro Tools session to download with files, and also mix consultation via email or Skype with me. Let's get to the video. Best Opto plugin compressors. I will start this list with an oddball. I put this one in the best compressor for vocals list. It's the LDC Commander by Audiority. This is arguably the best, most comprehensive and tweakable Opto compressor plugin out there. First of all, it sounds great, and you have endless possibility to really tailor the sound of this Opto to any material, any vocals, which is usually the main use for Opto compressors. You have 17 modeled optical circuit cells and boards to mix and match and swap in real time. Because you know, on Opto compressors, the attack and release and behavior and sound, it depends on the Opto cell and all the other various components. The guys at Audiority didn't go for one emulation, they just model all the components available and put them all in one plugin so you can mix and match and make basically your custom Opto compressor. This is the ultimate Opto compressor. It has a ton of features, sidechain, and a lot more. It's cheap, it's great. Number one in this list. Number two, direct emulation of one of the behemoth analog Opto compressor is the TubeTech CL1B by Softtube. Regardless how close it is to the original unit, this is a great plugin compressor. It's a great Opto emulation, and it's again go-to for vocals. It's great on bass. It has added features that the original hardware unit doesn't have. Softtube makes great plugins. I love so many the plugins in their list. With that said, this plugin is actually close to the hardware, the closest that is probably available out there, with all the added features that makes it a workhorse. Because of that, it's not just great for vocals, it's great for so many things. So definitely check out the TubeTech CL1B by Softtube. Number three, LA2A by UAD. We put the hardware at number one in the analog list. While I don't have UAD stuff, I hate to repeat this, maybe after NAMM we will see. I've tried this one many times, and I worked on many projects, other system, friend system, which had that plugin on. I used it, so I have a little bit of experience. And I can say this is definitely, I would say definitely the closest to the hardware that I've ever heard, both in behavior and colors, especially after the revamping UAD did with the 3 different versions. It's, first of all, it's so versatile, and second, it sounds legit like an LA2A. The only caveat is, of course, you have to have UAD hardware to use it. The next one is another from Softtube, and it's not exactly an Opto, but it sounds and behave like one. The technology behind it can be found online easily. Is the Summit TLA 100A, and it is one of my favorite compressors, period. For vocals specifically, but it's just, it sounds great. And it's so very close to the hardware. I used the TLA, I actually had it in a studio that I worked for quite a bit. So I'm familiar with the analog unit, and I have to say that that unit in particular, I don't know if others are the same, was a little bit noisy. So the plugin for me, it was even better when I tried it. I was generally impressed with the Summit plugin when I tried the first time. I've never stopped using it, and the good thing again about the plugin is it has independent saturation, which sounds great because Softtube knows how to do saturation. It's a go-to for vocals, and it's crazy how open and airy this compressor is, even a high amount of gain reduction. It's so easy to set up. It has enough features and enough versatility to go well with pretty much any vocal out there. But again, I want to stress it, it's not great just for vocals, it's great on bass too, especially the plugin with the HPF. And like I said, it's an hybrid, it's not exactly an Opto. You can read about the technology of the original unit, but definitely Summit TLA 100A had to make this list. The next one, I'm sure some people don't know about it or don't think about this plugin as an Opto compressor, but it is the Waves R Comp. And it was actually, if you look at the 2 choices that you have Opto and Electro. This was the first LA2A and 1176 emulation plugin. It wasn't official. It was telling you Electro and Opto, but that's what it was. And I put this one up there still with the big dogs because it's still one of the best plugin out there. Maybe because I'm used to its sound, maybe because we've heard this plugin on so many records, believe it or not. But the Waves R Comp is not just a great Opto, it's also a great fat compressor, so you have both. And it's still one of the most used plugin in modern production, believe it or not, still today. And if you're stuck with which compressor to use because you have too many, because you don't have time maybe to scroll through all that you have, with the R Comp you can't go wrong. You could literally mix a whole album just with this plugin. They recently revamped the GUI. I personally like the old one better, maybe because I'm used to it, but when you switch to Opto mode, its release, it's spot on what an Opto compressor does. Its behavior is spot on. It's great sounding. It has also color in the warm button, which is very subtle, and it's program depending and compression depending. So it's very easy to use. It's very easy to make it sound good. It's foolproof, and it's also a good way. It's a good plugin to learn the differences in the release curve between fat compressors, Electro on the R Comp, and Opto compressor, because the differences in the release curve in the two topologies is one of the main factor as to why these two compressors sound so different. And it's a great way to learn compressor in general. In short, basically, given the same release time, if you leave the release, so you can try this with the R Comp, put the release in manual and make it slow, and then compress, for example, 20 dB on a snare, so a quick event, so you can see the compression and the release curve. In Opto and then in Electro, you will see that Opto starts fast and it slows down as it reaches the zero. It called stomps on the brakes. That's what Opto compressor do. The Electro will do the opposite. It will start slow and will go faster as it reaches the zero. So this is a test just in case you want to learn the two different curves of the release in these two topologies. But Waves R Comp, it's a must-have. It's often on sale and it's cheap anyway. All the links to the plugins are going to be in the info box down below, so definitely check it out. Next one is another way, and is a direct emulation not only of the LA3A. The CLA3A emulates a specific unit owned by Chris Alge. They modeled it after his specific unit, and it sounds great. I like the Waves version of the 3A. It's not as close to the hardware as other units, but still, it's very close. And then it was modeled after a specific unit, so it's hard to tell if it was modded or what state it was. But regardless, it's a killer workhorse plugin. I love it on so many things. I actually use it as a main compressor, if I'm not mistaken, in the singer-songwriter video series that it's going on at the time that I'm making this video. So again, it's a very versatile plugin. Check it out. Next is the PSP MixPress 2. PSP, I said this before, is a very underrated in my opinion, brand. Many people use them, but they never do much in the way of promotion, so they are somewhat under the radar, but they are absolutely great plugins. MixPress is a great emulation of an Opto compressor in general with added controls and a very, very nice onboard saturation. So if you want to add the saturation factor to your Opto compressor, which you can dial in, PSP MixPress 2 is definitely to check it out, and it has a lot of feature on board. And they also have another great compressor, Old Timer is called, which is great. So PSP does know how to make good plugins for sure. We also have a freebie in the list, and the next one is Thrillseeker by Variety of Sound. This is a very cool sounding, again, LA2A inspired plugin. It has a good sounding saturation on board and extended control, so it's basically an LA2A on steroids. I love Variety of Sound. I loved so many of their plugins, from the tape emulation, from the rescue, so many. Unfortunately, I don't think at this time they make AAX64, so I cannot use them in Pro Tools, and I'm bummed about it, but Variety of Sound, even if they are free, they are definitely at the top of the game like any other priced plugin. So definitely check this one out. Actually get it because it's free. So you just literally have to download it. It's a great plugin. It has controls that the regular LA2A doesn't have, and the saturation sounds great. Another one is not just a great opto, but is a great bang for the buck, is MaxDSP Ultimate Compressor. MaxDSP, I love their plugin. They've been around forever. The Ultimate Compressor is a compressor plugin with 10 different types of compressors, so you get a lot for the price, including different Varimu, FET, and of course Opto. On this plugin you have two types. You have the Opto C and the Opto L, so you have both the compression algorithm and the limiting settings on the LA2A, I suppose, because they don't say it's official. But MaxDSP knows how to make plugins. Their stuff is high-end. I only tried the demo for the MaxDSP. I didn't use it that much in actual work, but they do sound great, and I have several Opto LA2A based plugins and also hardware, so I didn't really need it. But definitely this is a good deal because you don't just get the two Opto, which sounds good. You get 10 different compressors in one plugin, so definitely check it out. I left this one for last just because it's an old plugin and it's still so good. It's the AK Multimedia Opto, the big red one. This compressor is smooth as butter, is very transparent, as in the action of the compression. You don't hear it pumping. You can get away with ridiculous amount of gain reduction, and it does the Opto character so very well. I feel like it's underrated because it's old, but maybe like a lot of people use it. I still use it. I still love it. It's one of those safe places when I want that kind of sound, when I want that smooth, transparent level in action. The AK Multimedia Opto is still at the top of the list for me. And this is it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Check the info box down below. Leave all your comments in the comment section. If I missed something, if you use something and you want to mention it, how they compare, go crazy. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.